And John will be reading one of his own pieces in the open mic. Colleen, can you make your way through the back chairs and whatever? Here comes Colleen Powderly. Huh? No, Charlie.
But
Here we go.
I didn't do that. I didn't realize I was next because I was, still fighting the poem back there, basically. Let's try this one. I work in a prison, which is a great privilege, actually, even though I wouldn't want the Department of Corrections to hear me say that. Statistic. Keith Slade. Research shows born to a black lady, 9 out of 10 chances are I'd be a crack baby. Features would be the only thing my dad gave me, leaving me in my mother's care alone. From here and there he'd roam. So, of course, I grew up in a single-parent home, on Section 8 or welfare, stuck in the trenches. Trying to get by relying on public assistance, at an early age I'd witness violence and stick to silence. One of the ways I was fashioned, lays I'd hate with a passion. My skin color made me a perfect candidate for harassment, so quick I'd be to fight and never learn to read or write a tragic story. As a black youth in America, they said I'd fall under one of these categories. After a frail essence, fat said I would fail lessons due to a lack of male presence. I'd learn how to lie, surrounded by sin and acting up. I'd qualify for counseling, where I'd be assigned a social worker who would ask me questions I felt didn't concern her. And with a temper, if I was to start breathing wrong, medicine would get prescribed to keep me calm, while experiments with weed would lead to other things that would force me from underneath my mother's wing. And more than likely there'd come a day where either I got kicked out or decided to run away. I'd then drop out of school and turn to the streets and figure out how to go about earning my keep, unaware to truth as a victim. Once I was old enough, I'd get introduced to the system. Inevitably, just rebelling would transform into a life carrying drugs and weapons. So of course I'd point that fang, slaying my work, eventually join a gang and bang for turf, along with other lost souls in the gutter. I'd be willing to put a hole in another over a color. Instead of being on a path to college, careless, I'd sleep along and contract the virus. And oblivious, I'd just spread it. During the course of events, I'd wind up getting a chick pregnant, adding to the pain and the horror. She'd have a child, and I'd turn out to be the same as my father, leaving a child sick in this world to cope. Girl in hope, not even feeling I shouldn't run. I'll pay for it when I'm done. After all, research shows it ain't likely I'll make it to 21. Wow. One of the things I've learned from working where I work is how amazingly important the people at home are to the men who are inside. And this poem reminded me about that when I was taking a look through this. So I'm going to read it. It is by Omega Poet, and it is called Under Lock and Key. Picture loving someone from behind prison walls. The clock strikes 3, and everyone waits for the mail run down the dimly lit halls. I look up and I'm asked my name and number. A mixture of excitement and sorrow takes over, hoping the kite came from a winner. I look at the return address, and nothing but pleasure fulfills my eyes. Now I lay back and read the contents of this gift that fell from the sky. The scent is beautiful, and in my mind it paints a vivid picture. I take in every word with sincerity, as if it were Islamic scriptures. At the end, there's the words, "Love always." I take a second to scrutinize what was just said. Visions of happiness with you and I being free soothes all the worries that lay in my head. Right now my appetite doesn't exist, so I just put creation down on my list. Once I call you, instead of asking, "What's up?" I begin with a kiss. When our conversation ends and I'm back in my cell, I'm surrounded by reflections of you that reassure me where my heart dwells. Every day is a constant struggle dealing with the system, and my mind remains at war. In the game of love, you're the most valuable person with the highest score. In a place where tier 3s and police brutality is the majority of what I see, regardless of the outcome, I'm secure, knowing I have your heart under lock and key.